I believe by now you have all read the CBSE Class 11 topic, Portrait of a Lady by Khushwant Singh. That is a very interesting story, very sweet story, I will say. A relationship that grows between the grandmother and the grandson, which we can all relate to very well, right? So we are not going to talk about the details of it because we have quite some idea by now. There are a lot of videos already. You can of course follow that. If you need detailed explanation, do ask me. I will of course try to bring them for you. But what we are going to do is we are going to look into the chapter from the question answer point of view. Okay, we will see the different types of questions that can come from here, how we can prepare better, what kind of phrases, clauses, sentences we may write so that you can fetch more marks in your answer. Okay, so the first thing that we will talk about is certain points which are very important on the chapter, okay, based on the chapter. So the narrator is actually reflecting what is happening in the story, a basic summary, then we will move on to the questions. The narrator is reflecting on his grandmother, who is both wrinkled as well as old, and he exudes a timeless beauty. She exudes a timeless beauty and grace. Okay, she is not that beautiful from the word beautiful, what it means to you, but she has a grace in her being. Okay, they share a close bond. The grandson and the grandmother, they have a very close bond with the grandmother, who cares for the narrator and accompanies him to school when he was a young boy. However, when the narrator grows older and moves away for education, when he is taken away to the city by his parents, their relationship, it's not that it snaps, but they become more distant. Okay, so this is the first part of the story, the simplest part, which we have all understood by now. Next point, the grandmother, another thing that you may have questions from, that the grandmother is you can be asked the characteristics of the grandmother, the characteristics of the grandson. So the grandmother, deeply traditional and devout, struggles with the narrator's modern education and interests. Okay, she cannot relate it well because of that time gap, because of the generation gap. She is unable to understand it. Okay, feeling disconnected from the changing world, she could not cope with this education format. Despite this, their bond remains strong, and the grandmother is also very wise not to speak against what she is hearing, what education the boy is getting. Okay, she accepts it quietly, right? Marked by moments of silent understanding and shared routines. They share routines, they share the bond, but it is not that it's not that external, it's not that extrusive. Okay, next point, these are the 2 points, first 2 points. Third one, as the narrator prepares for further studies abroad, when he decides to go abroad, the grandmother remains very stoic. Very important word, remember it, you can use it in your answers. She remains very stoic. That means she is neither too sad nor too happy. She is constant in her emotions. She can control her emotions very well, expressing her love through prayer rather than words. Upon the narrator's return, after 5 long years, the narrator thought that he is no longer going to see his grandmother again, possibly. But the grandmother is there. She comes to receive the boy right after 5 years. The grandmother's health declines, but it is just that she was aware of it, that her death is going to come soon. So she passes away peacefully, surrounded by the sparrows she loved. She cherished their company. Third point over. Now the fourth one. Her funeral is attended by the narrator and others, and they witness a poignant moment. How? As the sparrows who she used to feed, they previously who were indifferent, they used to come for the bread only. But this is the time when the narrator and his mother understood that it is not just the food, it was the respect that the birds had for the grandmother. Okay, when the body is carried away, they do not eat anything. They are also very sad that the love they had for the grandmother, that lady, is no longer there. So this symbolizes the end of an era and the passing of a gentle soul, okay, who found solace in simplicity, okay, and devotion. So she was very devout, she was religious, and she was a very peaceful, calm, a very happy person from the inside. Okay, so these are the 4 points that you must remember. Now from the questions point of view, we will see what else we can talk about this chapter. First question that we can see from here, we will not discuss all the questions, but at least we will see one or two, three questions. Next class again we will move with the other ones. First question, how does the relationship between the narrator and the grandmother evolve throughout the story, and what significance does it hold? The relationship we have to talk about. Very important question can come as short answer question. Long answer question is also possible from here. Excuse me. So we will write the relationship between the narrator and the grandmother. You can just pause it and write it down. The relationship between the narrator and the grandmother undergoes various changes. Okay, the phases we are talking about as the story progresses. So we have already discussed it before while we were discussing about the summary. We see they share a close bond when the grandmother cares for the narrator, when they are playing an active role in the child's upbringing, when they were in the village. However, as the narrator grows older and moves away to the city and goes to a city school, the relationship becomes distant. However, despite the physical distance, the grandmother's influence remains profound, because you see, the grandson is always thinking about the grandmother, the beauty, how it was compared to those profound beauty of the mountains, right? So, shaping the narrator's values, beliefs, and memories, that is why he is writing a story after so many years, right? So, she of course had an influence on the grandson. And then the relation becomes even more distant when the grandson goes to the university, gets a separate room for himself, and it becomes even more distant when the child goes to London for further education. So when he goes there, he thinks that he will not meet the grandmother again, possibly because she was already very old. But he comes and meets the grandmother as if the grandmother was waiting to meet him. When he comes, she plays the drum in happiness, and then she dies, as if she knew that she is going to die then, right? So the last line, the concluding line that you can put over here, the significance of the relationship lies in its portrayal of intergenerational connection, important word, intergenerational connection, cultural transmission, and the enduring impact of familial bonds. Okay, so this is the concluding line that you can add. Okay, I think you understood cultural transmission. You can understand intergenerational connection. The grandmother and the grandson, they are 2 generations gap they have. Okay, and it is difficult to accept the other and understand the other so well, but they do that, right? Next question, we will see, what role do cultural traditions and values play in shaping the grandmother's character and interactions with others? So the cultural traditions and values play a significant role in shaping the grandmother's character and interactions with others. Rooted in tradition, she upholds cultural values, of course, because what needs to be done, she goes to the village temple, she reads the scriptures, such as devotion to prayer, right? Respect for elders, sense of community, how she goes there and stays there with the child. So this bond, this develops, right? These values inform her actions and decisions, guides her approach to life and relationship. That is how she was. We come to know from the way she behaved. Additionally, her adherence to tradition serves as a source of stability and identity amidst changing social norms and external influences. So we see there are external influences. We see how the grandson grows distant because his education is quite different from what the grandmother knew. Okay, what the grandmother learnt in her childhood. It was distant, but we still see how she accepts it and how she accepts it very gracefully. Okay. Next question, how does the grandmother's attitude towards education and Western influences contrast with that of the narrator, and what does this reveal about their respective worldviews? Important question again. The grandmother's attitude towards education and Western influences contrasts with that of the narrator. We have certain instances, we will write that over here. We all remember, number 1, we know that when Archimedes' principle was taught, when she came to know that music was taught in school, okay, all that science and technology, all that was taught. No religious education was given. So these are the things that the grandmother could not accept at all. You will write depending on the marks. You will write in short if it is a 3-mark question, 2-3 mark question. If it is more, you write in greater details. Okay. Next, we will write that reflecting the different worldviews and cultural backgrounds. The cultural backgrounds were different, so it clashed but she accepted it gracefully. While the narrator embraces Western education and scientific knowledge going to the city school, the grandmother remains rooted in her traditional beliefs because she cannot change herself when she is grown so old, right? So she is rooted in her beliefs, but she accepts it gracefully. And she expresses skepticism towards Western education. She does not like it because she believes that music is something which is associated with lewd ideas and things. So she denies it, but she gracefully keeps quiet. Okay, she does not make a lot of fuss about it. So generational differences in different perspectives and values, as well as the tension between tradition and modernity within the cultural context of the story, we see it very vividly. We see the distinct conditions, generation gap, the problems of generation gap, but also how a person can accept them gracefully. Okay, so this is the third question that we have done. Moving to the next one, discuss the symbolism of the sparrows in the grandmother's life and their significance in the narrative. So the sparrows question is important because for quite some time you are having this chapter, slightly different questions may be asked. So symbolism of the sparrows, you will say that the sparrows symbolize various aspects of the grandmother's life and experiences. Okay, they represent her deep connection to nature. She wanted somebody, she had a lot of capacity to love and show her compassion and the transient nature of existence. Okay, the presence of sparrows brings the grandmother comfort and joy because she missed that comfort and joy in companionship. Once she was taken to the city, she was quite distant from her grandson. So she had to show that love somewhere. The companionship must be there. So she showed it to the sparrows by feeding them. That gave her immense joy, serving as a source of peace amidst the various challenges of life. Because it is a challenging thing not to accept something which you don't really want to accept, like the scientific education that the grandson got. Next, their behavior towards the end of the story, that means how the birds behaved at the death. Okay, with their silence and departure and not eating the food that was given to them, underscores themes of mortality and the passage of time, of respect, okay, between different creatures in this world. Overall, the sparrows hold profound significance in the grandmother's life, embodying themes of connection, love, cyclical nature of life and death, and also respect that the sparrows should, because everybody can understand the word of love. The sparrows also understood that. So it was a connection both ways, right? Moving to the next question. How does the grandmother's devotion to prayer and religious practices shape her identity and worldview? Okay, so what we will write, the devotion, prayer, how did it give her the identity? How did it shape her understanding of the world? Okay, this is your question. The grandmother's devotion to prayer and religious practices play a central role of for shaping her identity. How is that possible over here? You see, she is rooted in her faith and religious beliefs, but that gives her a spiritual nourishment. Okay, prayer serves as a source of comfort. It gives her solace. Just write this line. Prayer serves as a source of comfort. It gives her solace. It guides her and provides her spiritual nourishment amidst life's trials and tribulations. All the troubles that she has, she could accept them through that religious belief of hers, okay, by counting that beads of rosary of hers, okay, in that religious faith that she has. Her steadfast devotion to religion, we always saw her counting the beads of rosary, right, from the beginning of the story till the end. Just that small gap she did not pray was when she beat the drums and sang the song. So devotion to religious rituals, scriptures, shape her sense of self, her identity and purpose, illustrating the profound influence of faith, how faith can help you to lead a better life, on her character and worldview. Okay, this is your next question. Moving on to the last part, which is also very important, can come as a long answer question. The 4 stages of relationship. I will just tell you the points, remember them, and we will move on to the concept of death, the last part for today. First one is the time when they lived in the village. Second one, the city life when he went to school, westernized education he used to get. Third one, when he went to the university, got a separate room. And fourth one, when he went abroad, okay, and he was not there with the grandmother for 5 long years, right? So these are the 4 stages. Important part. Moving on to the concept of death. This is your last part for today. The grandmother's idea of death is marked by a sense of readiness, acceptance. Okay, I have not prayed for some time. I will pray now. I have shown my love already to my grandson. But now this is the time to pray and I will accept my death. Although the doctor says that it is just a fever, she says that no, this is the last moment of my life and I'm going to die quite soon. And very peacefully she accepts the fact, right? Without whining, without being sorry, without crying that I'm, suffering and stuff. She expresses a profound sense of peace and contentment, knowing that she has lived a fulfilling life and fulfilled her duties to her family and community. That is why, in the Vedas, it was also written, you must have read in the class 6 history books, how they used to, Vedas and Upanishads, how they used to go to the forest and, they used to stay there so that they were cut off from all the relationships. So that they could, when they die, they could, find fulfillment in that. They would not be sorry that I have to leave this family member of mine. There are so many ties, connections, and I have to leave them and go away. So acceptance of death became easier that way. So she has also accepted death very easily. Her final moments are characterized by prayer and reflection as she prepares herself spiritually for the journey ahead. That now I have to die, I have to accept death, and I will no longer waste my time in talking to people. I will just pray. Overall, the grandmother's idea of death reflects a combination of spiritual faith, acceptance and tranquility. Okay, through her portrayal, the narrative suggests that death is not an end, but rather a transition to another stage of existence. So you are accepting that this part of your life is over. Now you have to leave this body and go away somewhere else. Okay, guided by the enduring power of faith and love. You can also quote Alfred Lord Tennyson's "Crossing the Bar." Over here, if you find the poem, do read it. It is also similar to this, the acceptance of death. That when you know that you have lived your life, you are satisfied with life, accept death easily. Okay, don't complain, don't suffer and bother yourself with it. Accept that this is going to happen, because death is the most common thing that you are going to have. You may not get a job, you may not marry, but you are going to die for sure, today or few years later. Okay. So this is the concept of death part, which is another important part from your chapter. So we will keep it till here. I believe this is going to help you out, as many of the questions I have discussed are important. And if you think that I should also give you the short questions because they are exactly from the book, so I have not put it out here. If you want it, do write to me in the chat box in the comment section. I will bring it for you. And of course, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Till date, I have not posted CBSE topics, but as I have joined as a PGT PGT is postgraduate teacher in a government school. So I'm going to post some content for you that is going to help you out from the exam point of view. So thank you so much. If you need more videos, if you need the other chapters as well, write to me the chapters that you want in the comment section and we will discuss them in my later classes.